In this video, I'll show you how to propagate and grow your own cushion moss. You don't need too many materials or experience, and it's certainly beginner friendly. First off, you're going to need a tub with a tight fitting lid. This can be as big or as small as you want, depending on how much moss you want to grow. Next, you're going to need some sphagnum moss. This will be used as the growing medium as it's really good at holding moisture. Lastly, you're obviously going to need some cushion moss that you can propagate. You don't need much, as a small piece will go a really long way. The moss doesn't even have to be green like this one, and a piece with the top chopped off will still work just as well. The first thing that I need to do is prepare the sphagnum moss. If I leave this moss as it is, once I add water, it's going to spring back to life and outcompete the cushion moss, which is the moss that I want to grow. The solution to this is to sterilize it in the microwave. I'm starting by rehydrating it as it's completely bone dry. I'm squidging the moss to help it absorb all the water and then draining out all the excess. It's really important to rehydrate the moss before microwaving it, as microwaving dry moss really isn't a good idea. Now that it's nice and damp, I'm placing it inside a tub and then I'm going to cook it for a couple minutes until it's steaming hot. The sphagnum moss will retain all its beneficial properties, except it's not going to start growing and outcompeting the cushion moss. Now that the sphagnum is cooled down, it's time to get it inside the propagation tub. You don't need too much, and a centimetre or so will work just fine. It's really quite dry after being microwaved, so I'm going to give it a light spray with some water. When adding water, it's really important not to add too much. The moss should be nice and damp to the touch, but there should be no visible puddles whatsoever at the base. With the tub ready, it's now time to prepare the cushion moss. I'm going to take a spare tub and some scissors and trim the moss up into the smallest pieces that I can. If you're finding this video useful, then you might be interested in checking out my terrarium making ebook. It's absolutely packed with useful information and will certainly help you avoid some unfortunate mistakes that all beginners go through. I'll leave a link in the description as well as the pinned comment in case you're interested. The next step is as simple as sprinkling the cushion moss into the tub. Make sure to cover the entire surface of the sphagnum and try and make a nice even layer. I'm using my hand to firmly press the moss down. This will help it wick up moisture from the sphagnum and stop it from drying out. Admittedly, it does look like a tub of dead moss, but trust me, it will spring back to life and start growing in no time. I'm gonna give it a final light spray and then add some springtails. These tiny bugs will eat things like mold, which could cause problems if undealt with. Now all that's left to do is to put on the lid and find somewhere to place the tub where it can grow. In terms of lighting, you've got a couple different options. The first is placing the moss under an LED light. This is a great option as the LED light provides great consistency. This is an inexpensive LED aquarium light. The other option is to place the moss in a bright spot in indirect sunlight. Moss is a shade-dwelling plant, so it's very important to avoid direct sun. As for other care details, I like to open up the tub for a few minutes every couple weeks or so. This brings some fresh air to the moss, and it also gives you the opportunity to check how it's doing. I utilise this time to check if the moss has got enough water, as well as checking for problems such as mould. Here's the one I propagated today, and here's one that I propagated 2 months ago. As you can see, the seemingly dead moss has sprung back to life and it started growing really well. I'd say it's not quite ready to be used, but it's definitely on its way. Here's a tub that's about a month older. The moss is taller and denser, and I'll be happy to use this inside a terrarium. To use the moss, you can either pull small chunks out like this that you can then plant inside your terrarium, or you can pull out the entire patch of moss and plant it straight inside. As it's got the sphagnum base on the bottom, it should acclimate nice and quick and get straight to growing in whatever ecosystem you place it in. I really hope you found this video useful and decide to start propagating some moss yourself. If you're not sure what plants you can use inside your terrariums, check out this video next where I give you my top 5.